Flight Boss, bitch, you know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Antares Moon, Flight Boss the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now I want to talk about cats. Now, cats are very mystic. Cats understand the mist energy. Now, before we break this down, I want to just say, when we're thinking about animals, as far as you being a human, on the highest evolution scale, cats are on the highest conscious level. Cats got a higher conscious level than any other animal species. And when I say cats, I mean the whole cat group. So like lions, tigers, and then if you got a cat as a pet, pay very close attention to this video because you're going to realize a bunch of shit. Now, as us travel here as spirits, based upon our spirit family, we already traveled, so we already have a certain amount of information. So that's what allows us to create the kind of brain and body that we want to inhabit based upon what area or space and location we go into in the astral realm to be manifested into where you at today. So you know, as a spirit group, you travel here. If you are a human, you see it and you know how to understand a bunch of other humans, then that means all y'all share similar experiences based upon astral travels. So y'all all had the right size spirit to be able to have the right information to create one of these bodies to inhabit this realm of reality. So if you are a human relating to another human, now you understand. So when you look at each species are on their own evolutionary scale as a spiritual group. So some spirits may come from this constellation. Some spirits may come from this constellation. So like this video is about cats. So now we're going to start talking about more like things like Anubis and Ursa Major and Polaris, the fixed star Polaris, and you know, all the Leo constellation and the Big Dipper and the Bear constellations and things of that. And we're going to start getting into understanding this kind of concept also. But when we want to talk about the cats spirits is from a very separate realm than any other animal. Only animals I want to say probably understand a cat's realm will be, that's not a cat, will be probably a bat, an owl, maybe a raccoon. But it deals with the eyes, because you know, when we talk about the shapes of the eyes, when you look at the shape of your eyes, and then when you look at the shape of and how a cat's eyes, every species have different type of eye structure, and you know, your eyes is how you receive light to be able to perceive this reality. So we know that the eye structure depends on everything, depends on how you're going to see things. So if you see another species that got eyes, but it's a different type of eye structure, you know they have a different point of view, a different reference. They're seeing a different spectrum. The light not reflecting their eyes the same way it's reflecting your eyes. So birds see life differently. You see life differently. Every species is seeing life in a different way based upon their body and the information that they created. The brains and the bodies that they created for themselves. But cats go very deeper though. Because when you look at it, now, reason why I said a cat is the highest on the evolution scale is because when you look at all the animals, right? Now, if you got a cat as a pet, pay attention. When you look at all the animals, right? Here's why Archangel Uriel can separate by the spirit and be able to tell you that a cat is on the highest evolutionary scale. Because you got a bunch of people be like, no, bears are stronger. Y'all going by physical stuff. No, you have to go by the spirit. This is what you need to understand. This will separate cats from all other animals. When you look at a cat is the closest animal that shows examples of having face expressions. Now, if you a simple left brain mind person, you probably thinking like, what did that mean? Listen, when you thinking about having face expressions, really dive into that. What does it take to actually have a face expression? It takes reasoning. You see what I'm saying? It takes reasoning, the ability to reason. So when we're talking about being consciousness, when you look at a cat, you gotta damn near look at a cat like a cat is conscious of their feelings in some way, shape, or form. A little more than the other animals, if they have the ability to have a face expression. You see what I'm saying? Now, their face expressions ain't gonna be highly developed yet, based upon what body that they have. But when you look at a cat and you look at all the other animals, a cat is the closest thing to showing signs of a face expression. You could stroke your cat if you got a pet. You could do certain things. You could scare your cat, and you could look at it and actually see a formation of a motherfucking face expression. And you know, as a human, to have a face expression takes the ability to reason. So if cats, this shows you that cats have more abilities to reason than other animals. So to reason, that takes consciousness. You have to be consciously aware of certain feelings or consciously aware of certain things to even have reasoning and to put meaning behind this reasoning. To even have a specific expression about something that everybody could agree on the same physical body that you have. So if you are a human, you may not be the same as another person, but y'all have something in common. Y'all both have the ability to do that. So what get you mad and what get this person happy may be totally different, but y'all both have the ability to be happy or mad. You see what I'm saying? So that's the trait you have in common. So when you look at a cat, that's where they differ and separate from other animals. So this means they have a higher conscious level because they have the ability to be conscious of feelings, certain feelings that other animals don't have. So this makes a cat smarter than the other animals. And this is why I say a cat is higher on the evolutionary scale. But look, now we're going to get on the spiritual terms. This correlates to where their spiritual travels from. A lot of other animals is here to become pets and become certain things, to analyze and to receive more information on their spirit so they could become humans or become a higher level of consciousness in this level of life. Cats is the only animal groups that's not on that shit. Cats already have souls. Now, you probably say, all right, so do animals have souls? Everything that you see moving have a soul, but it depends on how big and small it is. Now, here's what the ancients understood and what Archangel Uriel is going to explain. Back in the day, the reason we analyzed animals was because we understood that animals has a specific oversoul. So for an example, by you being a higher consciousness, you have more ability to reason. So you could become an individual spirit. You become more of a soul. So you could create more and do more. So you are a bigger source, right? Now, but you come from a spiritual oversoul. Animals are controlled by one oversoul. So say how you could become separate from your oversoul. Animals here is not. So in a higher level of life, an animal group is just one person, and that one person and ideas and thoughts control the whole animal, that whole animal species in the lower life in its existence. So for an example, this is why you see animals roll in packs. You see birds fly together when it's time to fly south and shit like that. You see animals, and I'm talking about not the smart animal, the mundane animals that's ruled and correlated, like hyenas. You got a group of packs, zebras, all ants, but they ain't animals, but you know, all type of species that's correlated in packs and don't show forms of separation, and they just go with the fucking evolutionary flow. These are the ancients understood that these animals were why the animals do that. Animals was controlled by one oversoul, right? So that idea, all that one idea is go through all those animals. So for an example, as birds, as the oversoul of a bird, when it's time to fly south, one bird don't have to tell another bird it's time to fly south. They all know that. You see what I'm saying? So they all do it together. That's the examples that you're going to see when you see something being controlled by an oversoul. So when you see a person into religion and things of that nature, you know that they're controlled by an oversoul. Because it make y'all, one person don't got to call another person and be like, yo, you know your ass supposed to be in church. Y'all already got a pact. So y'all line each other up. Y'all still living in animalistic ways. See what I'm saying? Now, ancients, when they looked at animals, right? In today's time, this is what I'm about to explain when you see stray animals, like dogs without a home, or animals that's like nocturnal, or animals that stay in the dark, like raccoons, like wild animals that's not to be trained. Now, here's what you need to understand, because animals have an evolutionary scale also. But back then, in the ancient times, and even before then, when I was here, as just Archangel Uriel, we looked at the animals, and you know, the moment we see one specific animal become stray, like not going with the pack and anymore, things of that nature, we used to look at these animals as reincarnated higher spirits. So for an example, you would be your spirit was here before this animal because you got enough information to take on a higher body. So you are a higher spirit, right? So you are a person just like somebody else. But say you died, right? And say in these times we looking at the animals, and then we witness a stray animal. An animal that separate itself from the pack. We would look at that animal like that might be you, or that's a reincarnated spirit that had did something fucked up, so it got trapped and had to relearn something in the characteristic traits it was playing out in. So either it had left from that body, or as a human or whatever species being it was, the spirit was carrying out certain characteristics and traits of that animal or animal trait, or that animalistic energy. So by you not learning how to be in the body you are in, and you still clinging on to frequency vibrations of where you just came from, or that animal, then it's like they used to give it was different gods and shit back then, but they would call this punishment. This before my eye and all that shit. This would be we would look at that as punishment. So when we see a stray animal, we would say, okay, that's a lost spirit, because we used to know for a fact that animals go in packs, so they're controlled by one oversoul. So anytime we see a stray animal, we knew and because we was highly spirits back then, and we still are. This is why I'm giving y'all this information. As spirits, we automatically knew, okay, that animal is an individual spirit. That animal got a bigger soul, so that animal must be inhabited by a bigger consciousness, and now they're suffering their fate right now in the animal. And then after time developed, once y'all start getting, then Egypt, this was thousands, 20,000s, hundreds and thousands of billions a year later. Then this where y'all get Egypt, and then they took this kind of science and shit like that and made it like this was a good thing. And then they made religions and science off of it. They used to kill certain animals and give certain rituals and things of that nature. So when a person who was the king or queen or pharaoh or whatever died, they reincarnate into an animal or a cat and become a watcher. You know what I'm saying? And they specifically like to depict cats, because the way cats is structured, cats can become watchers, and cats do not get attached. So a cat don't give a fuck about your emotional vibration. You can be the most loving to the cat in the world. A cat can show that back, and a cat will switch up on you fast too. See, dogs is really not like that. Cats are highly unconscious. Cats do what they feel like doing. Dogs do what they're receiving. Dogs and other animals have to receive certain energy to attack. Same way like you do, like with raccoons and shit. Cats are in a certain level that they have the ability to choose. And they got reasoning. And also they from another realm. So the way they reflect light, they see more of the dark. So they see in that realm. But yeah, back then when you look at an animal, a stray animal, we will be like, okay, that's a representation of an animal having its own mind. You know what I'm saying? So that must be a person spirit in that animal. So then we will watch this animal and see what kind of characteristic traits that it have to see what being it was, or what person it was, and what person is suffering in that animal right now. So then we would take this animal and treat it as one of us, because we know the spirit that's inside this animal was us, was Timmy or Tommy or Alicia or whoever, and she died and she being punished right now and it's separate. So we got to make sure we take this. So this was the frequency vibration that came from in the world where you're supposed to take in stray animals. But now, you see what I'm saying? It's like, but now y'all living backwards. Y'all think it's being overpopulated, so y'all make animals stray. But the concept originated from what the fuck I'm talking about right now. Anytime we witnessed a stray animal, we was like, okay, that must be Timmy. That's Oyakis. Or that's me, Malicia, you know what I'm saying, or whatever names that we had back then or whatever like that. So the stray animals that separated themselves from the pack, we know that these was the animals we got to get and bring into the home and treat as our own, and then this is where the concept of pet came from. But pet was never looked at the way y'all looked at it now, but it's still the same frequency vibration going on. It's just an animal receiving your frequency vibrations, and y'all channeling each other and learning from each other, and all naturality in the astral realm. That's this animal spirit gaining enough information, learning how the next level of life can be understood, so when it die, it has enough information as a spirit to take on one of these bodies. And you on your way out of here. Ain't no more bodies for you anymore if you're a human. Your ass got to take on one of those bodies. And if you're not learning, learning shit, you're going to take on another one of these bodies and just have a hard-ass life. And you're going to manifest a bunch of situations in your life that force your ass to learn about the stars and learn about some shit. You ain't going to want to go through no mundane goddamn situations in your life no more. That's how harsh of the hell you're going to create. And that's how it's going to look. You're going to be living just like you living now. But you're just going to be creating circumstances and situations that force you to learn about a pattern or routine or something or task, and doing something every day until your ass tired of it, and make your ass come to conclusions of lightening your load in that life. See what I'm saying? That's how this shit works. But getting to the cats, cats are dark spirits, and they don't really give a fuck, and they're on their own path. So, if you got a cat, just know you're not dealing with a pet. You're dealing with ancient smart ass spirit that see things differently, and they see what's really going on. And if you say, for an example, cats work at stargates. So if you got a cat in your house and you are a pet, you got a cat as a pet, be careful what's on your mind. Especially when you just sitting down rubbing your cat, but you getting lost in thought. Y'all know how y'all are when the people who love y'all cats. You start rubbing your cat on your lap, and then you might go off in your deep thought or other shit. Be careful what you thinking, because the cat is a stargate, and everything that you thinking comes through the cat. It comes through the cat. So entities will always have access in your house. The same way, like if you keep a what's one of those things that you buy for Christmas and you hang on your door, the little circle branch thing, the halo branch that you buy for Christmas. One of those that open up portals for your house too. So be careful with putting those in front of your house too. If you ain't got like a prospering or charitable household, if you got like an argumentative and negative household, then you got open portal gates to the point that accidents may happen. Somebody it might be somebody else beefing on your street. Your house end up getting shot up. They might think it's your house by mistake, just because you got that there, or you got a cat in your house. And since you got these kind of thoughts, the niggas down the street house is supposed to get shot up. But for some reason, something created a situation for the niggas who doing the job to shoot your house up instead. Like that, and that's just an example what I mean by how entities gonna have open access into your house. So be careful of that. But yeah, I'm not saying don't hate your cat. If you got a cat and you are a loving person, then these are the entities you're gonna attract. You know what I'm saying? And your cat always gonna show the vibration in your house based upon what kind of cat you have. So if you are a person who you know somebody who got cats as a pet, pay attention to the cat. Do the cat hide all the time and you never see it? That let you know you in a household full of a bunch of secretive motherfuckers, and they probably talking behind your goddamn back. So be careful. Try not to even be going over there all the time. Or do they got a cat? Or do they cat be on every fucking thing, even on you? Like the cat start rubbing on you as soon as you come in there, or jump on your lap? Like those cats that just don't give a fuck. They come on you and shed all on you and shit. Those cats, that mean you in a overwhelming house. And it might be too overwhelming to the point that, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't want to start talking about issues but you know how issues can arise with people who are too overwhelming and things of that nature. That mean that's a household that you could possibly be there, wrong place, wrong time type shit. You know what I'm saying? You might be there and this house is so open and welcoming, people that you don't like come over there too, because they cool too. So you find yourself end up in some type of, you know what I'm saying? But that's being negative. But you know what I'm saying? It's still all good. Or is it a cat that knock a lot of shit over? If it's a cat that knock a lot of shit over, that's a lot of curious and reckless and airheaded people household you in. People who don't really think. They ain't really emotional. They don't really think. They don't really care about a lot of shit. They probably trashy. You know what I'm saying? And dirty and shit like that. And it'd be one of those cats. So if you're going over somebody's house, pay attention to how they cat act, and it's going to show you what kind of frequency vibrations goes on in that household when you're not there. It goes even deeper than that. If you got a lazy cat, if it's a cat that's lazy as hell, you see a cat that's always in the middle of the goddamn floor and shit like that, that's a house that make everybody in that house make a lot of excuses about shit. So be careful with always going to that household, because you will start procrastinating. You will be a motivated ass person, but every time you go to that house, you don't be motivated no more. It might be stuff going on. You might go to that house, they always playing video games and shit. You might be the type of person like, man, I want to go out and let's do something. As soon as you go over there, you get sucked in and playing video games and you don't do nothing. Look at the cat. They might got a lazy ass cat that's always in the middle of the goddamn floor and shit, rubbing around, shedding on the goddamn controllers on the video games and shit. But you know what I'm saying? But it goes deep, for real. Flight boss, bitch, goddamn air.